Man, I'm the first comedian to do a lot of things, man. First comedian with NFTs, first one to have a comedy club in a couple different metaverses, first one on your show. What's so great about my stand up and the whole Bitcoin stuff is when I walk off stage, the type of compliments I get are that, that's what I've been thinking forever. I should have said that Ken Bozak, his first two words were very vulgar the very first time I got off stage. And it was like, and then he gave me this huge hug and he was just, he's like, F you.
If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. It's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. Today I've got a newcomer. I haven't had anyone like him on my show ever, so this is the first time having a comedian on. I got my main man, Mike Salvi from Philly on with me. What's going on, Mike? How are you, man? I met him, just real quick, I met him down in Miami last month. Awesome time. The vibes were right. You know when you meet someone and it's just an organic flow and it's all good. That's what this guy had, what we experienced down there in Miami. So I was like, look, I gotta get this guy on the channel and kick it and talk about comedy. It's really neat what he's doing because it does tie into crypto. So I'll let him talk about how he's leveraging blockchain and crypto. Mike, what's going on, brother?
Lots, man. Thanks for that intro. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was we had a blast. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely a good vibe when we met. And then so I didn't know I'm the first comedian. Man, I'm the first comedian to do a lot of things, man. First comedian with NFTs, first one to have a comedy club in a couple different metaverses, first one on your show. I'm running with all this stuff, man. This is great.
I love it. Pioneer. You're an OG crypto person too. So I want to talk about that and you know how, because I love picking the brains of people who have been in the space as long as me or longer. Because it has changed greatly, and I would love to get your opinion about that. But before we do that, do you want to see my balloon?
I would love to see your balloon.
Do you want to see my balloon? Yo, people, you might not know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna play the clip right. I'm gonna play the clip right now, and you'll hear
it. Did I ask you your best and worst crypto experience?
Oh my God. 2 weeks ago, we were at Bitcoin Miami, and I see Mike talking to this guy, and this guy looks like he's really into Mike, and I kind of move a little closer, and this guy's telling him about his balloon, that he has this balloon that is able to fly to space. He asked you if you want to join he was like, Mike, do you want to fly on my balloon? You can even tell your little jokes in my balloon. Did I show you my balloon? I've got a big balloon. My balloon goes to space, Mike. It's not like any balloon. My balloon goes to space. You can come tell your little jokes on my balloon. And then he leaves and kind of like I think he not blew a kiss to you or like he did not. He did not blow a kiss, but in my imagination he did.
Okay, all right. Thanks for clarifying.
But he kind of looked at you like, "We'll talk," like call me or some shit like that. And then you were like, "I think he wants me to come on do comedy on his balloon." And then I look at you and I was like, Mike, he's gonna fuck you on that balloon.
You didn't clarify. Was that your best or worst crypto experience?
I think that was my best.
Yeah, tell me about yourself, bro. Tell me about, how you got into being a comedian. I want to know that first, because I'm sure you were a comedian before getting into crypto. Maybe not. Let me know, though.
So actually, no.
I
wasn't. Okay. Comedy's it's been a long journey. It's one of these things that start when when you realize that you make people laugh and you're like, oh, wait, I'm going to do that again. And eventually it just kind of builds up. But I've always been a fan of stand-up comedy as a kid. I mean, I fell asleep listening to stand-up comedy records. I'd stay up to watch Def Jam and all this stuff like as a kid. How it all came to be with crypto. What got me into crypto is just not trusting the dollar and, personal safety and security and personal ownership and responsibility. All those things that come along with being a freedom lover, which is what got me which was what really attracted me into crypto in the first place.
So are you libertarian bent, or are you kind of because I'm always interested to hear.
Sure.
early adopters? Because I know for me it was a number. It was like I was a forex trader, right? So I was
Okay.
already following financial markets, but I was also a computer guy, programmer, right? I
I was
developed
neither one of those
websites.
things. Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear how you caught this and understood this technology, blockchain, Bitcoin, that early.
Depends on how much time we have. No, I mean to bring it all down to what was simple was I had no idea what was going on in the world, and I know a lot of
Mm.
things were nuts. And I really wanted to I wanted to have an educated opinion on the world for a while. So I was just like, what's happening with like why did countries go to war? How did countries even form? I mean, I did a lot of homework. And a lot of the things that had a lot of stuff in common, the drug war, the war, all kinds of things in my opinion and in my head scratching and research, I came down to this seems to be about like who's controlling money and what's going where and the flow of it and all. And a lot of us are trapped under the dollar, really, and we're trapped under all the power and all the things that come along with it. Wouldn't it be great if there was another thing that we could use? So locally, a lot of us were involved in like barter systems or trading with gold and silver, even like actual tokens. And along came cryptocurrency, and it was just kind of one of these things where it was like, here's a whole great way to turn your back on all of this stuff and try something else. And if it fails, oh well, at least we gave it a shot. So when I say I got into Bitcoin at an early time, yeah, it was a long time ago, and we were just. I mean, the first 2 Bitcoin I bought, I immediately bought a T-shirt with them because Bitcoin was like $10 each. I had no idea that it was I didn't look deep enough to really get an understanding that one day it actually could hit, just like how Finney and all them said, Bitcoin could hit $10 million one day if all the wealth in the world went to Bitcoin. So, but I never really thought of it that way, or like one of these days I'm going to be able to pay off my kids, grandchildren's home. I wasn't thinking
Yeah,
like that.
I didn't either, to be honest with you. I just looked at it as an experiment. I'm like, this is a cool
It was something
experiment.
else. Yeah. And it was
Yeah, it
like,
was
let's
something
try this.
else.
And it was something to work, and it would help save us a lot of like, kind of just time and money. It was just neat to try. And eventually it just popped and took off. Throughout all of that, we were putting together meetups and rallies and those sort of things, and nobody really wanted to MC anything. So I just was like, all right, well, I'll MC XYZ event. So I mean, I ended up like I've hosted events for a while. I mean, I have that history. But then one day I was just kind of like, I always had this bug to try stand-up comedy, and I did it. I fell in love with it the second I stepped on the stage. And I've been striving to make that all I do. And I'm at that point. So it's really cool that I mean, it's not all I do, but I mean, I do a lot. I don't go to work anymore to collect a weekly paycheck. And I bet it all on me, which is neat. So to be able to combine cryptocurrency and comedy, I mean, the whole thing is hilarious.
It is. It
So
really is. It really
what's
is.
and this is me kind of paraphrasing what most people say, but and I'll say this with confidence. What's so great about my stand up and the whole Bitcoin stuff is when I walk off stage, the type of compliments I get are that that's what I've been thinking forever. I should have said that. Ken Bozak, his first 2 words were very vulgar the very first time I got off stage, and it was like, and then he gave me this huge hug, and he was just, he's like, "F you," and gave me, this giant hug afterwards, and because he was like, "You just said in 15 minutes what all the experiences and made them all just silly and like enjoyable that I've had the whole roller coaster ride of crypto over the past few years."
So do you bite your tongue though? This is cancel culture going around, right? And do you feel like you have to be conscious of what you say nowadays, or are you one of those that just doesn't give a fuck?
I'm respectful of who's in the audience and to the art of comedy too, and also just kind of to like what's funny. So I say all that to
But
tell
what's
you that
funny
like,
to you may not be funny to some
oh yeah,
people,
oh
right?
yeah, and that's the thing with comedy. You try it, and you try it a couple times, and if it works, it doesn't. So no, I don't. I'm look. I just turned 44 yesterday. Okay.
Oh, happy belated.
Thank you. I'm from Philly. I'm like, there's a line in one of the Rocky movies where he's like, what are you going to sue me for? What are you going to take from me? What are you going to cancel me from? I've been this underground guy who's done so much in my life, and I'm at a point where my fridge is full. The sheriff is not knocking at my door looking for the mortgage payment.
Right.
My kid's in college. So I'm at this point where it's just like, there's nothing that can really be taken from me. But at the same time, I'm not afraid to talk about whatever. I mean, but I'm gonna make it interesting in some way, shape, or form. Like I'm not gonna pick on something just because. Like my rule in my own personal, if you didn't ask for it, if you can't help it, it's kind of off limits to make fun of. Unless it's really funny, it could be done in a way that doesn't leave you as the butt of the, or that thing that you can't control as the butt of the joke. Whether it's skin color, whether it's a handicap, whether it's a preference of whatever, those things, So, but yeah, I mean, look, I'm like one of the only white dudes in like most of these black clubs in Philly, and there's
I
only a
know.
handful of sin. Like,
Look, bro. I was
like if
like, I was
look at
looking
my
at it.
profile, I'm surrounded by
So I was gonna ask you about this.
by
Like,
nothing but just
bro, how you get
right.
around all these niggas?
It's so funny you say that. We
I
talk
was
about that.
like, yeah. So to help me understand, you have a podcast, and I want to bring
Yeah.
this up. You have a podcast with Adele Gold.
Yes.
Tell me about that relationship and how
Del
that came about.
Del is like my absolute best friends.
Nice.
And he is one of the funniest people. Period. And it's so like I'm very fortunate, if the stars are aligned that somebody's controlling this, they definitely put us together on purpose because it's one of these like, even on the surface, like he's just about a foot taller than me. I mean, he's a very dark skinned black dude. I'm not a black guy at all. I've like, but there's so many like we hit it off so well in the beginning. Like as soon as I got off stage, the first time he saw me, he the first thing he came up to me and he was like, yo, don't stop, keep coming around. Like, my name's Del Gold, like, whatever. He was like, that was great, keep coming around. So, and he's got this, even though he's younger than me, like we kind of have like this younger, older brother relationship too, where, we feed off each other when it comes to we talk so much. And that's how we came up with the podcast. We were like, let's just record this. And it's taken on a life of its own. We got, we got a really good thing going. And he's, so the word that I'm not going to repeat, that was brought up a couple of days ago because I was, I'm tempted to say it only because they say it 85 times an hour, and it's like, I'm like,
right. Hey, I already know, bro. You can't listen.
I don't.
You can't.
I don't.
No, I'm not. No, what I'm saying is, you can't tell me white people don't say nigga. Okay, put it to you this way. I had a friend. Okay, and I was in grade school, like 5th grade. So this is way back. And we used to joke all the time. And he's like, nigga, you ain't, and we would joke around. And I'm like, I already know. I know white people say it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like, the hip hop culture has turned it into something that was negative and made it something more positive.
Sure.
Or a word of like endearment, right? It's a term of endearment to another person, or it can be used as like, nigga, get out of here, but
right.
It's hip hop, man. And I mean, it seems like you're really into hip hop. You're from Philly, Philly is a strong rap hip hop culture. What do you guys talk about on the podcast?
Oh man. It usually just starts out with like, how was your weekend? But then, like, so we always have a guest on.
Okay.
And most of them are just comics that we love in Philly that are local, or just somebody that's somewhere close in our circle. It's not like we're looking to hurry up and interview X, Y, and Z person or going out of our way. But it's just like, it's just people that we fuck with. And, and then we also want featured and just whatever. So, and then Del put together a whole bunch of questions at the end that have just become a staple of the show. And we're big fans of the Nori podcast for the Dream Camp. So like, there's definitely a lot of emulating of that, but all done in love. I met Nori in Miami, and I showed him I showed him a picture. I was like, look, we love you. I was like, just so you know, I was like, we do like Nori claps on the show. Like, I was like, it's just like a tribute to you. It's cracking up. But yeah, so we do like, Del put questions up like, Batman or Iron Man, and if you pick the wrong question, he damn near throws you out the window. But no, so it's just it's one of these things where it's just us just bullshitting and talking and whatever.
I think, man, I love seeing people having fun and being in their purpose. Like Nori.
That's what it is.
Nori's the worst interviewer, but he's in it. He's having fun.
Yeah.
He's well known. He's well liked, and it's just working, right?
Yep.
And so I just believe that people should definitely try to do what makes them happy, right?
Yeah, but really
I
diving into being themselves, and I think
being
and
themselves, right,
yeah,
right.
Dell does that really well. I mean, just like there's a billion favorite things. I mean, I could say this whole podcast just about why I love Dell Gold. It probably knocked me out. But one of the things is like you see him coming, but you don't. Like he's this tall, quiet guy. Usually got sunglasses on, but then like if you look on his TikTok, he's like singing along with like old Eddie Murphy songs and party all the time, and like in a broom. Like he's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
And
I saw the one Instagram post where he had two soft serves in his hand. He's like, I told you I'm not a thug or a gangster. That was funny. Yeah,
well,
that
that
was
was one of
funny.
the things too. We had this thing on the show where it was like you can't be gangster and XYZ. So it was like,
Right,
the
right.
question was is can you be gangster and eat ice cream? And that was like a running thing for a while. And I caught
Nah.
him literally double fisting cones, and I was like, God.
That's funny. That's
So
hilarious.
so it's just us being in our natural element, and it's really cool to be able to share all this crypto world. I mean, to bring it back to all this is cool because he's very funny where he's like, yeah, I'm into it, but I'm not. Like he's like,
Mm.
when it comes to this, like, so he got interviewed by crypto late night people. Shout out to them. And one of they were like, "Are you into Bitcoin, or like, do you have anybody that talks to you about Bitcoin?" He's like, "Yeah, I got this friend that tells me all about it, and he always talks about it, but I don't really be listening to him." But he does. It's funny.
That's what's up. So, Dale is a good friend of yours. You got a bromance with him, but you also got a bromance with my man Ken Bozak. That's my guy. I didn't know you even knew him when I was talking to you down
Oh well.
in MIA.
Okay.
Tell me how you met him and how that whole thing came about.
Ken I met through. So what's interesting is our my mom and his they're from like the same, not same block but same neighborhood. Um, so it's not like they knew each other, but so I met Kenny. So I mean, we were all just from Philly. I grew up skating at Love Park, and then after I just kind of went my separate ways with skateboarding and whatever for a while. He was there was like a younger generation he was a part of too. So Kenny was just always kind of bouncing around doing stuff, but I met him at a crypto meetup, and then he came to one of my stand-up shows that we did called the Crypto Shit Show, and that's when he came up to me on stage, and he was like, he's like, fuck you. He was like, everything you just set up on stage is everything I've been like experiencing. And that was great. He was like, I should have done stand up. He's like, cause it whole, like you brought it all down to like a simple whatever. So from there, him and I, man, we've gone to all across the country together, different conferences. We've run stuff here, and he and I are just so damn close. Like I don't know. He's like a little brother to me. And now that he's down, so if you follow me on Twitter, not just for the numbers, I want you to go watch this video just because it's fucked up. I went into his house before he was there, and
Oh
I
yeah, I
I
saw
just
that.
yeah,
I
I Rick
saw
James
that.
the shit out of his
Yeah,
couch, his
yeah, yeah, I
tub, his
saw
shit,
that.
everything. So, but yeah, Kenny and I are very close. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what's up,
and
man. That's what's up.
well, I do take credit for certain things. I certainly owe him a lot of like, he's the one that kicked me in the ass. He was like, bro, I don't care what you do today. Make the very first stand-up comedy NFT today. Otherwise, you're not going to be the first one, and it's going to suck. He was like, or right now, you could be the very first one to make a stand-up comedy NFT. So I did, and now I get to ride that out forever. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, that's. I saw that in your tagline. I'm like, yeah, that's dope. And do you have the first Metaverse comedy show as well?
yes, in a sense. All right. So about when COVID hit and stand-up comedy came to a screeching halt, I did one of those Zoom shows, like, and it just didn't. I hated it. So then a little bit of time went by, and somebody hit me up. They Googled blockchain comedy, and they found me and asked me if I wanted to do a show in Decentraland. So I created an avatar. I went in. I was like, "This is crazy. Yeah, of course I want to do this." So I did a live show in Decentraland, and I fell in love with it. And then we did shows for just about a whole year, just about every week. Missed a few here and there, and then we did a big festival. And so then it's caught on. I've heard other comedians like Mark Norman. I heard he performed somewhere in Decentraland a little bit earlier last year. So other people are kind of catching on, which is cool. But yeah, so I built a comedy club in a place called Madagascar. I have one on the Uplift World, which is on the Wax blockchain. I have one in Crypto Voxels, and that's of all the ones that I've tinkered with for the past little while I've been building these and trying them out privately. Because CryptoVoxels seem to be the just simplest, user friendliest, easiest way to get in. And so the club's being built now. I think comedyverse.io takes you right to the CryptoVoxels thing, but it is being under construction this weekend. So you might see somebody in there building some stuff if you do pop in.
So is that where you're going to have your future shows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I mean, there's still real live comedy that I'm doing, but it's also to have this as just in addition to everything else that I'm doing. So we're doing these shows every Thursday. I got a full blown team that's helping launch with all of our NFTs, and we're pushing everything out. They all qualify as tickets. You can blend certain NFTs. So I mean, they are neat. They're pictures, but they all have utility. You can blend them, unlock content. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming out with them, but we're dropping them all next week. I'm doing the very first stand-up comedy show out of our club, which will be the very first stand-up comedy show out of my own, Metaverse blockchain comedy club. There's other ones being built, but mine's ready. So
that's what's up, man. I'm definitely gonna tune in for that.
Thanks, man.
I when we were down in Miami, man, you were cracking up at a couple things I said, and I was like, I always knew I was funny, but I just wonder if I'm funny in front of other people. That's the thing. How did when you got up there for the first time, were you nervous? I'm sure you were a little bit. Did it flop? Did you do a great job? How did that first time on stage go for you?
The very first time it couldn't have been there could have been more odds stacked against me, because the way that the bar is set up, you open the door from the street, but then you walk down a set of stairs, like 2 sets of spiral stairs. So from the street level inside the bar, you can look down, and it's literally like, it feels like you're at the bottom of Dante's Inferno, because there's 3 levels of people looking at you. And I'm 5'7". There was a TV above my head. The Sixers were on, and they were like, all right, Mike Salvi. So as soon as I walk up, the host whispers to me. He pulls the mic off, and he's like, don't shit the bed. And I was like, great. I just looked at everybody all the way up top, and then I just looked at the screen. I was like, can we at least cut the Sixers off for the next 3 fucking minutes? And they died laughing, and then everybody kind of just leaned in, and I was like, got him. And then I just I did what I rehearsed, and it went well. And then I've had times where it didn't, a few times here and there, but no, it went well the first time.
What was your best joke? What was your best joke?
Oh wow, I don't want to repeat that one. No, but I won't repeat that one. Sorry. Come see me live. Maybe you'll hear it. But,
yeah. So best joke can't be repeated. What about your worst, like crickets? You said the joke and just bombed.
This is my favorite one. So we were doing this tour called the Integrity Show, the Crypto Shit Show, and we did a little over a dozen cities. So my friend Nathan and I structured the whole thing. So we organized this whole thing. Anyway, every time we would go into different cities, there was one joke that I told. I just said to him, and he just gave me this dirty look, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm using that on stage." And he was like, he was like, "Dude, no, don't do it." So I get up on stage, and I looked right at him. I looked right past the crowd, and I said, "It's nice to be here down in Baltimore. Came all the way here from Philly, and boy, is my block folio tired." And you hear him in the background go, "God damn it!" So that part of the joke is what makes it work so fucking well. It always, it does really well in bear markets too. But but that part and our dynamic of that. So as much as it's like my worst joke, it's one of the funnier ones because of just, him. But I tell it, I did it in Denver, like everywhere, San Diego. And he just looks at me like, don't. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you do rehearse. So kind of explain how you set it up, man. And you have like an outline and you just try to follow. I've never talked to a comedian, so I don't even know how this works. How do you do a whole show?
You always got, I mean, I don't want to, give away all our secrets, like the magician, how the elephant disappears or whatever, but I don't even know if you can do that. You have stuff ready to go. I mean, just like if you're snapping with your friends or whatever, you're just messing around, whatever, like there's always that one joke like that you can drop and everybody cracks up, so you'll have certain stuff that you just have ready to go. But at the same time too, like that's the beauty of a live show. You never know how it's going to go. Mm-hmm. So, you want to leave a little bit of room for it. You also want to realize that the audience paid $15, $20, $30 to be in the seat, and they want, I'm from this. You better be funny. That's where I'm from. That's
right.
So I respect that with the audience too. So I'm definitely going to give you something I'm going to deliver. But there's certain punchlines that you can always walk into every different topic. You could do something.
Kind of a pivot on the conversation back to crypto. How do you feel about this? I mean, you're leveraging it now, so evidently you think this is a powerful tool.
Sure.
But with Metaverse and NFTs, like, how do you look at that? Is that bigger than like the first wave of just cryptocurrencies? Is this bigger? Is this going to adopt or pull in even more people? And if so, what platforms do you see being very useful for entertainers, or athletes, or whatever, to leverage themselves within the metaverse? Kind of talk to that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I know I'm betting a lot on it, and I have comedy clubs built in metaverses, and I'm making NFTs, and so I am speaking from that. But I think it's bigger than the first time around. This is like a 3D version of almost everything. First of all, this is 3D. This is 3D versions of social media. So if you don't remember what Second Life was, are you familiar with that?
I love Second Life. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. And you know what? It's funny you say that. I was just talking to someone before we went on. We were just talking about it. Second Life, bro.
Yeah.
They missed out on a opportunity of a lifetime because they had the market. They had the infrastructure built out. All they had to do was pivot, because people were already like, that was, you probably remember this as an OG. I do. Bitcoin or the Linden buck was a way for you to get in and off the crypto space. That was an off and on ramp for Bitcoin in the early days. You can use your Linden bucks. There was a market for you to literally trade back and forth with that. So
didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. So it's crazy how they missed the boat.
What's crazy about it is how just maybe, I don't know all the details, but I can definitely say that the technology itself was just ahead of its time, unfortunately. I think because, social media itself was only a handful of years old, maybe 5 at best, when that was a thing. But now here we are with, like, imagine being able to take your video game character. You're playing Super Mario Brothers, and you're like, you know what? Let me stop jumping around and killing these, turtles for a second, and let me go walk down this other street. And then when you walk down this other street, you could pass by a building, walk into the building, and it happens to be Mike Salvi's building. So what's in there is a picture of the Twitter logo on the wall, and there's my Twitter. There's where you can pull my Twitter feed if you wanted to. You go over to this wall, and then there's a thing where you can click, and there's a bio if you want to see that. You walk over here, and you can click and watch some of my stand-up clips, or see some of the things that I've done, or look at a picture of my dog. That's all what your Twitter page is, and that's all what your Facebook page is. It's just, imagine now you pick your character up and you can walk around and you can float through stuff, and you're not limited to the real world anymore. So just for that alone, I mean, I don't know. My guess is that's probably going to be the norm for social media, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, yeah, you see what Facebook did. They pivoted big time. That was to me a big sign of confidence for this transition into everyone using this buzzword Web 3.0.
Right.
But them changing their name from Facebook, the parent company Facebook, to Meta, should let you know whether or not they're successful at actually pulling it off. That is the wave of the future. That is the direction we're going. And I feel like the Metaverse is the next big thing. This is the next big thing, in my opinion.
When people, if you haven't been there, like if you haven't signed into some way, shape, or form and walked around some virtual world, like until you do, like when you do that, you're gonna go, holy shit, this is crazy. Right. And for me to be live in front of a whole bunch of people that I can hear them, and they're not, no one tries to interrupt the show, so to have the audience, I can hear their feedback when they laugh. My friend Jerome, who he's out of Miami, goes by Blockchain Universe. You should definitely talk to him if you haven't already. He's been running VR meetups for the past 2 years, and in alt spaces on and a lot of these different VR platforms, there's already meetups. There's doctor's appointments. There's all these things, I'm sure, right? But what he found early on was there wasn't any crypto meetups, so he's just been running crypto meetups. I did a show in one of his events that he had one night. I walked into the room and all my NFTs and all my pictures and videos are all up on the wall. Like, So there's a lot of potential at all this. I see a lot of people wanting to put together like, just community groups where they go and they can meet up. It's just like it's a 3D Twitter space.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree
So,
with you, definitely.
And not that I recommend this. Like in real life, if I'd go do I don't know, let's say I'm from Philly. If I get booked in Chicago, I go do a show in Chicago, and afterwards, a bunch of people were like, "Yo, you were really funny. Come on, we want to take you to the bar, and we want to get you drunk, and then here we're going to take you to this party." Don't get in the car. Like, it's not a good idea. You could be getting set up and robbed. Especially now I'm a
Right.
Bitcoin comedian. They probably think I got way more money than I do.
Right.
But in the metaverse, I could do that. After one of the shows, this guy was like, "Yo, I own a casino. Let's all go." So we all just flew over to the casino. After we were done the
Nice.
casino, we went outside and, talked about shit coins under a bridge. It was crazy. Like, so
That's dope. That's dope. So which so was that in like Decentraland?
that was in
or-
Decentraland. Yeah, that was in
Okay.
Decentraland.
Nice.
Last thing is I have a podcast on the moon. I've never been to the moon, but I have a podcast where me and whoever I decide, there it is right there. I'm talking to somebody in real time, what looks like on the moon, but it's just a metaverse room that we made up. But so the hell what? Look how silly that is. I'm a duck with 3D glasses. There's the earth up above of us, and it's just different.
Yeah. No, this is great, bro.
Thank you.
I'm like late to the metaverse thing.
You're not.
So I know I thought I was late to Ethereum too at $13. So as you stated, I'm not late at all, but I think people should really take this seriously. I think people should really start trying to leverage whatever business they do and into the metaverse. That is like the future, right? If you get in now and establish yourself, I think it's going to be a beneficial for everyone to jump on that train.
You really don't have much to lose. I mean, other than, like, don't go buy a bunch of properties and try to set up a bunch of stuff. But I mean, just like you can literally, like, what mine, I'll plug my shit. Go to comedyverse.io and it'll take you into crypto voxels. It'll take you to my club. You can walk around, but then leave the club and you don't have to sign in. You don't need a Web3 wallet. You don't need any of that stuff. You just need a phone. And you can walk around and hit the fly button, fly around and see what's out there. And then at the very least, you'll get a taste of like, holy shit, this is cool. Now, right next door to me is a museum with some weird stuff. There's a lot of stuff. My metaverse is in Miami. Yeah, in there's some weird shit. This is my comedy club. Yeah, that's my team. Haha for hire. I got all their NFTs up on the wall.
And how much did you pay for this property?
It's some money. I mean, I guess if you really looked on the blockchain, you could find it. So, and then, by the way, so this room, as scary as it looks, it's getting built up this weekend. But it's all just kind of being put together. But yeah, so I mean, there's like this property over here. I tried to get that too, but that guy didn't want to. He wasn't selling it. So this is it.
This is dope, man. This is dope. Lastly, I really want to ask you, like, what is your top 5 hip hop artists? You're from Philly. I gotta get your list.
Man.
Everyone's list is gonna be, different. It's subjective, of course.
Okay.
What's your top 5, dead or alive? I want to know.
You know what? A lot of people don't talk about their top 10 either, like the 6 to 10.
No, they don't.
They don't. And we used to do this thing where it was like we used to do, like, you always have these conversations. It was like name 10 MCs better than Redman. Nobody ever could.
Right.
Wow. All right. So I used to always say that Thought, KRS, and Jay-Z are all tied for number 1. So, but then I got so many different favorites. It's crazy. Like, for a lot of different reasons. So like, this isn't an argument of who's the best. These are just some of my favorites. But yeah,
Exactly.
so, but yeah, Royce the 5'9", I really grown to like, I mean, I liked him like way back, but like a lot of his shit now, like, I don't know. And he's just a hell of a lyricist. So yeah, let me think. Who else? I got,
Royce,
all right, I'm not going to.
Royce is from the D. Okay.
Yeah. Detroit. Sounds better. That's when Del watches, he doesn't pause me.
From the D.
This shit happens. I can't get away from it. So I got Thought, KRS, Jay-Z.
No Pac.
As much as I talk about what's that? Who?
Pac.
He's definitely in the top 6, 10, like 6 to 10 for sure.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought about my top 5 in a while. That Nas, Yeah.
Nas
Yo,
over
yeah.
Biggie.
Oh, Biggie's great. And oh my God, people want to beat the shit out of me so many times when I talk about this, but Big's not in my top 5.
Okay, respectable. Like,
But
I mean,
and it's one of these. That was so if you don't know who Ray Gordon is, he's like the king of Philly when it comes to comedy. And not only like, I mean, every comedian knows him, and he's a monster. And he's like, so anyway, we were all having this conversation one night, and I brought up a Biggie. There was just something about Biggie that I said that he just stopped and he looked at me. He's like, "Boy, I'm about to choke you. Like I'm about to choke you." And it felt like, if you haven't seen the movie Full Metal Jacket, it felt like the scene where the sergeant went up to Matthew Modine and he was like, "Are you going to go back on your word?" And I was like, "No, sir, I'm not going to change my words." Yeah, it was funny as hell.
My thing about Biggie is it just wasn't enough material. So that's why I always put Pac over Biggie, because we had so much material. Like, I'm not saying Biggie would have been a one-hit wonder, but I just didn't have enough to say, yeah, for sure, this guy would have been around for 5-10 more years. With Pac, Pac had enough, bro.
Sure. But Big was 24, and everything that he did was all by the age of 24. I do not want to talk about what I was doing. I know.
Pac was 24,
I'm just talking
25.
about me. I don't want to. I'm just saying I don't want to talk about what I did when I was 24. So I mean, I'm just saying I give Big all the credit and respect. So where are we at? Shit. Who else? They come.
I think you gave me 5.
Did I?
Yeah.
I put Redman in there. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. But then I got some other favorites too that are just, just good. Some are just corny as shit. Some just get, whatever. Jadakiss. I think Jadakiss is one of the best
in there.
Yeah, but I'll put Jada as the best MC on some of the worst beats in the world. Like, I can't believe I sit through some of these beats sometimes, but it's Kiss. He just carries the whole joint or whatever.
That's how I feel about Nas, though.
Sure.
Nas had picked some of the worst beats.
But when Nas comes out, when these bangers come out, Nasty, all those, and then anytime he works with Premier, it's just like, come on.
DJ Premier.
Premier.
Last question. Why do comedians always have a first and last name?
What do you want me to have?
I'm just saying, like,
that's what my parents gave me.
Is that like an inside thing?
So what do you mean?
Every comedian I know is like Dave Chappelle. Everyone has a first and last name with their stage name. It's just a weird thing I think my wife pointed out.
Yeah, there's some. Like all right. So I'm trying to think, like Earthquake. Okay, that's the only first Earthquake. Like one word. Bruce. But that's still 2 names. That's still the first and the last name.
It's 2 words.
Yeah, it is.
Earthquake is the only. Yeah. I'm not a huge comedian. Like, I'm not a student of the game, but it's just something I just thought I would ask you as a comedian.
You know what? That reminds me. So back to MCs for a second. So I'm always gonna be Mike Salvi. I was Mike Salvi at 1 year old, and and so on and so forth. But I'm I'm at different stages or whatever through that point. So I guess what I'm saying is like, maybe there's this thing. I never thought about this, but maybe there's this thing where it's just like, no, you just like Keith Murray. Is Keith? That's one of the. I always thought that was one of the coolest fucking names. Eric Sermon.
You
know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay.
It is what it is, right?
Right. So and at 70 years old, he might not want to be called Ice Cube anymore. So you know what I mean? So he might be like, maybe call me, and it's too late.
Yeah.
Dana Carvey had a joke about Sting, where it was like, everybody call me Sting. Nah, fuck off, Gordon. So I don't know. I mean, but maybe I don't know. Maybe that's it. But.
Yeah, I always wanted to ask a comedian that. But man, it's been a pleasure, bro. I really appreciate you coming on, kicking it with me.
This was great.
Where can people check you out? I got your Twitter up right now. I want
there.
people to definitely check out your Metaverse comedian show. I'm gonna be there next time for sure. But we got you here on Twitter, the Mike Salvi.
I'm the Mike Salvi everywhere. You can go to MikeSalvi.com, and that'll take you to all my stuff is all
everything.
There. Yeah.
There you go. Any last words?
I'll do what Ken Bozak always. He's like, yo, just Google Ken Bozak. I'm like, yo, don't Google Mike Salvi. I don't know what else is gonna come up. I gotta. So yeah, go to MikeSalvi.com so it's official. Yeah, most of it's cleared up. But no,
Right.
so now I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me on. Other than checking me out, I mean, just dive into this stuff. It's easy enough to do.
Yeah, for sure.
You're
People
not going to get
should
hurt.
definitely do. I mean, he's an example, ladies and gentlemen, of a person leveraging this new industry. It's not even really new, it's reinvented and more powerful with the blockchain. As we talked about Second Life, I
That's
was
it.
a player for years in that
Wow.
space. But yeah, man, it's your boy Crypto Blood. Thank you for checking out another Kicking It session with me. And make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe and click that bell to see more videos like this. I'm out of here. Holla! If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube and membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. Holla!